Welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The Pen Leader Podcast is produced by Roar, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
And welcome back to the Pen Leader Podcast. I'm quite excited today to have with me someone who's going to be talking about the concept of working it out. And she comes from a background of being a personal trainer, an instructor, is the CEO and founder of Fitzone by Erika. And she has a number of certifications. And I'm going to have her talk a little bit about what those are. But it's amazing how she's working on her bachelor's in science in health and wellness management, and is going to be sitting for a certification as a wellness practitioner. But she's been doing it for over a decade, and you've probably seen her out and about Northwest Ohio. But I know she talks about this nationally, and I'm so excited to have with me Miss Erika White. Welcome, Erika.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. I thought balloons or clapping was going to drop in right there. I wasn't sure if I should wait.
Well, you do great work, and I'm excited to talk to you. And
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
It's always, that's the one thing about those of us in health and wellness. We're always pumped up and excited. Whoop, whoop, we're excited. So, yes.
Well, part of your job is to get others excited about fitness too. Am I right?
That is correct. Always making sure that, no matter what we're going through, we are showing up with a smile, being that cheerleader, and really making sure that others are feeling good about themselves and that they can do whatever they imagine to do with their bodies, whether it's their bodies, their mind, their spirit, or their soul. So it's very important.
So they can actually be their own pen leader of their own health and lifestyle.
Exactly.
I love that. So let's talk about this. As you are an entrepreneur, a personal trainer, like I said, an instructor, and I wanted to ask you, what are you seeing in the last 5 years? What are you seeing in trends in compared to like maybe 10 years ago, since you've been in it for a number of years?
Well, one thing that we always see is that something that is popular will die off, but it'll become popular again. And group fitness, such as kickboxing, if you remember Billy Blanks and Shalene Johnson, that used to be really big. So we saw that die off, and then you saw spin classes, and then we moved into more, remember, step aerobics. Well, then they moved into people wanted to do more of the cardio fit, where you did all different types of boxing. CrossFit. So you did more CrossFit because it's changed. Now people don't want to do CrossFit. Now we're into the boutiques. So people really like boutique fitness, where there's really specific types of workout. So we've seen that, and we'll come back around and we'll get back into it. Also, it's always going to repeat itself, what people like. So that's the one good thing about fitness. But what we've seen as a trend is more personalized fitness, and they also want more personalized care. So when we talk about health and wellness, we don't say fitness as much anymore. We talk about health and wellness. And when we talk about health and wellness, we really are focusing on physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And we really start to really focus more on spirituality. And that's not to be confused with religion. We're talking about the body, how it comes together. So we're talking, again, mental, physical, and spiritual. And then going back into personalized medicine when we're talking about health and wellness. So that is a big trend difference. And I love where we're headed with that.
That's excellent. Well, let's get a couple statistics out of the way. I know that thegoodbody.com, which is an independent research firm, did a study, and what they found is that 1 in 5 U.S. adults exercise each day, and that they're saying that individuals who are likely to go to the gym are between the ages of 18 to 34, and that there are a number of individuals spending a lot of money, $32 billion with a B, on gym, health, and fitness club market. And that's an amazing number compared to 10 years ago. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's nice to know that it's still a $1 billion industry, right? I think it still goes back to when we talk about being more personalized and why people are not connected, because what we see are other people's goals and what other people tell you that you would be able to achieve with their program and what they're doing, instead of really connecting with people on where they are. And that is why we see people spending a lot of money. They're in search of where they fit in as far as when it comes to their wellness and their health, according to someone else's fitness idea or their fitness plan. And that'll continue to be something that we'll struggle with and not really start to change anything when it comes to health outcomes until we're able to really be okay with telling people this may not be for you. Where are you at? This is what you want to look at. And we start to personalize and tell people it's okay to say, you know what, I really don't like jump roping, or I really don't like CrossFit, or I really don't like this. And we can say, what is it that motivates you? What would get you to wake up every day and be excited about movement? So that is correct. And most of the times, just to get people started, the thing that people, it's like water. I would say there's 2 W words that people do not like in wellness, and that is water and walking. That's like, all I need you to do is drink a little more water and do a little more walking. And people like melt down like, like some ice cream in summertime. But they're the easiest things for you to do. Just drink a little more water and do a little more walking. And you actually will start to see change in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit instantly. And I'm not making that up. And you can keep that $1 billion to yourself. Right.
Keep your billions. Your money, right?
Right.
So let's talk about some of those other trends. I know American College of Sports Medicine mentioned that we're doing more tracking, wearable technology, watches, bracelets. I even saw a ring that will track your health and wellness, functional training, mindfulness movements, and virtual reality. Now I'm going to be very transparent. I'm a virtual reality. I'll work out with my Oculus and get in there and work out. And I use that because of COVID, because I couldn't go to the gym.
So that motivates you.
It did.
But see, because that is your wellness moment. That's not someone else's fitness idea that gets you moving. I love that.
Okay. So anything to keep the body moving,
yes,
critically important. Now, I do see that there's some, when you talk about personalized fitness and coaching, what would you say to someone who is sedentary lifestyle, they're in an office or they're not moving a whole lot during the day?
80% of Americans.
Amazing.
Probably
statistic.
more.
Yes. To get them started, or perhaps they've had an injury. I know individuals in different running groups that I participate in, they've been injured. And so getting back onto the horse to do that, what do you suggest?
Actually, the first thing, it might surprise you, is you've got to start mentally where you are. A lot has been said about just getting up and getting moving. Just do it. And for most people, it's not a reality. I always encourage people, let's start where you are. How are you feeling? Where are you at? Are you pre-contemplation? Are you contemplating? Are you just like, nah, I don't even want to start anything? That is how we encourage people to get started. So when you're talking about tracking is just journaling. So where are you at? So I would first say, to get started, how do you feel? And where are you at? So if you're feeling like, I think I can do this, or I think I can do that, let's write it down and let's start with that. And then let's start about, do you need other people there to help you? Are you looking for a group, or is it just you? Do you need music? Or what tools do you need? So if we're saying music, well, what kind of music do you like to listen to? The first thing to get anyone excited about doing anything is not about taking them there and making them do it. It's giving them tools and finding out what tools motivated them to get started in doing it. Think about it. If you wanted to write a book, I wouldn't just say go write a book. I would say, well, Dr. Gore, what kind of pens do you like? Dr. Gore, do you like smooth paper, or do you like a tablet? And think about that. That already gets you excited to do what? Write. We think about fitness in the same sense. What would get you excited? And so I always encourage someone that's just starting out, start off with what motivates you. Is it music? Is it certain outfit? It's simple things. We're not thinking of anything outside now. Then let's start talking about movement. And then let's do that. Let's start with the mind first, because there's one important thing I want you to realize, and all the listeners: the conscious mind cannot convince the subconscious mind what it wants to do. So we first got to start with the subconscious, and the subconscious wants very specific things to get it to move, period.
Just even evaluating how to reach your subconscious. So I have a friend who, before she goes to sleep, she's listening to messages before she goes to sleep in hopes that that message will kind of be in the subconscious. She'll dream about it when she wakes up the next day, which, that probably works. It works for her because she kind of works it out, and then she gets up and she's fresh and renewed. What are your thoughts on that, on how to reach that subconscious?
It's different for each person, but it's just like just what I just explained. What would motivate you to get moving? And you really have to be okay with that. And for me, I would give an example. If I'm going to work out, I need music. And then I'm going to have music. I'm going to have certain kind of earphones, and I'm going to have make sure that my music feels a certain way and it gets me motivated. And for people, it's okay to think about that before I can even get to the, walking or get to the gym. I'm going to need to make sure I have this music, or I'm going to need to make sure that I have this type of shoes. But we only tell people to get moving. We don't give them the tools mentally to keep moving. And that's important. And that is where it's difference between someone that's certified in health and wellness and someone that is just making billions of dollars. Even though it sounds better to make billions of dollars. But seriously, if you're really in it for people, then you want to give them the tools. So there's, as we know, willpower, it runs out. Willpower is not something that's infinite. It's very finite. But a skill set that I give you, a skill set is something you can add to and continues to grow. So that's where we want to help people with. And that's the big thing that we start to change people's, not just their mindset, but they build a skill set that allows them to continue no matter if they fall off or they feel like they didn't hit every goal, but they can continue to move on. And that's a big difference.
So this brings me to the whole habit forming, that if you can get, I don't know if you've seen that statistics, get 28 days of doing whatever it is that you actually now have become into a routine and create a habit, if you can keep it up. I don't know if that means you work out 28 days, but at least maybe tracking or 28 days. So, if you were making a suggestion, it sounds like possibly getting a coach to help you is really critically important. What would you suggest?
I would love for you to pay me to be your coach to do that, but because I have because I'm pretty honest, I don't make billions of dollars, but you can actually do it yourself with tracking. So that mindset is, again, it's just a start. You have to go beyond the 28 days and actually to make change. But where it comes from is that we understand that the brain has grooves in it, and those grooves in the brain, actually, in order for you to change, the brain is lazy. I want to say lazy, and lazy, I mean, of course, in a much more scientific way. But what happens, have you ever been driving to work and you go the same route every day, but then on Saturday, now you want to go to the gym, but somehow you end up driving to work, correct? It's because the brain takes shortcuts, and it allows from one path to the other, and it just knows where it's going. Or you'll walk in a room sometime, you're like, did I turn off the light? But you do it because the brain does things it learns to do things systematically without you thinking. So those 28 days that they're talking about is for your brain to develop a new path and not continue the path that's been doing those habits. So that habits can be good or bad, right? Habits are what allow our brain to do things without us constantly having to think about them, tying your shoes, things like this. And I'm giving really simple examples that are not beyond what you're saying, but what we're talking about is that pathway in the brain. In order for you to create a new pathway in the brain, it takes about 28 days for you to do that. And so the brain can now do that, but then you're going to have to continue on. So yes, the way you do that is by journaling every day. That is my thing. You don't really have to hire me if you like. I like billions. I've never had a billion, but I would like to know what it's like. But seriously, if you would just write it down, just get a 30-day journal and do 30 days. It's really beyond the 28. And then what are you going to do after that? So give yourself some goals. Give yourself, your objective is to do this. Your objective, again, is a specific amount. I'm going to do this for 30 days. My goal is after the 30 days, the next 30 days, what's next? Always have your what's next.
I do know that there's an opportunity to possibly reward yourself, and not necessarily with food, but with something like, taking yourself out for maybe a good
self-care. I love self-care.
Yes. Reward yourself. I think that's
And don't wait till you lose weight. I think we have this idea that when I lose 20 pounds, when I lose 2 pounds, when this happens, what if that never happens? And what you tell yourself, again, remember we talked about the subconscious and the conscious? What you're saying to yourself is, I'm never good enough. You're good enough right now. So if you don't even think about the weight, if you do a whole week of journaling, reward yourself. That week, why are you waiting to the end of the month? Because you want to allow yourself to right now, right where you are. If you start today doing something, reward yourself. You don't want to wait, because what you allow yourself to think of, what you allow yourself to do is to build that positive motivation within yourself that says, I'm always worth it. For every small thing I do, for every small step, I'm going to reward myself. Now there will be bigger rewards and smaller rewards. And I'm not saying you just do the first day and you're like, oh, now I should go take a trip now to Jamaica. I'm not saying that now. Okay, let's get you could, but let's just first of all say I'm going to take that trip to Jamaica after I made the commitment to this for 6 months. But while that, let me step it all the way back. So the first day I do this, I'm going to go buy my glasses, and then after a week, maybe I'll go and do something else. You want to allow yourself to appreciate every single moment. And that's how we build motivation. And that is how we start to make real changes and allow, again, people to build that skill set that lasts beyond today.
What kind of books are you reading to help you even further? Because you've got these certifications. I see strength and conditioning. I see personal training, indoor cycling certifications. You have all of these different areas. But what is it that you would say to really get that jump started and with those pieces and those characteristics?
Oh my gosh, Dr. Gore, I'm reading school books right now, so you would ask me that. So you probably have to have me back on the show.
What are you reading? What are you reading?
A lot of the books that I'm reading, I can tell you about the content, have to do with, believe it or not, about leadership. Mm-hmm. But it was by Nordhaus. And it really helped me understand not just about leadership, but about followership. Because many times a lot is put on the leader without understanding the followers. And it made me think of differently, because we were all taught about don't be a follower, don't be a follower. But without followers, there would be no leaders. So to understand how to take care of your followers, or understand the different type of people that are followers, and to take care and nurture that. Because what they say, a leader without a follower is just someone wandering around. Right?
I've heard that, yes.
So we need followers. And so that was one of the most profound things, is to understand the type of people I have around me. And we want to make sure we take care of that. And there's nothing wrong with being a follower, as long as you understand what you're doing. And followers come together. I mean, if you think about different groups that we've had do very significant things within our culture, within society, they've all been followers that came together with a single goal to make a big change. And we can think about, I'm thinking like, if we think about social economic change, those changes were single people that were followers that came together with a single goal to make a huge change, and they helped that one leader push forward to carry that change forward. So that's one of the things that I would say that I've been reading and learning about. And the other is changing how we look at personalized medicine, how we help people really get in control of self-management when it comes to everything from diabetes to high blood pressure, to even keeping people from being really depressed when it comes to injuries. I'm very excited about that. A lot of nerd stuff going with me right now, but it's things that I love and care about. And my conscious brain is definitely trying to push back on my subconscious brain that tells me that we're sleepy a lot.
No, that's all right. I understand that, because you are busy. I was going to ask you, from a pen leader perspective, we talk about the strength of character and the sharpness, education, experience, and then being able to stay on a plan, which you just mentioned about writing in a journal, which is a plan, but being able to pivot and celebrate. What do you think are the strongest out of this when you're talking about addressing working out and trying to get yourself into a fitness mode? Which one do you think is some of the strongest characteristics, if you could rank those?
I would start off with commitment. Commitment would be number one. The second, as far as character, have a plan to pivot when you need to. I don't think you have to be necessarily overeducated. I think you just have to know and trust yourself. All of us know how to walk. We've been walking since before we even knew who we were, right? And so just having a plan and understanding how to pivot. And the reason why I say that is what you're going to do, what you're going to enjoy doing in your 20s in your workouts, it's going to be different when you're 30s, in your 40s, because you're not going to keep those knees like Megan. Those knees like Megan are going to change. You're going to just get Meg. They're not even going to be knees. And so things are going to change. And so you have to be able to pivot, and you're going to have to be okay that sometimes you may not have time, and you're going to have to be okay to mentally accept that and be okay. Well, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start over. And also to be able to have that commitment that I am going to, if I can't be here today, I'm going to be there tomorrow. And I'm going to work, maybe hold myself accountable, whether it's by using my watch that reminds me, or having a friend send me a message, or making sure that I'm rewarding myself and reminding myself. You have to be able to do that, because you're thinking about this is for a lifetime. And there are going to be days, I never thought there would be days where I would miss a workout. But here we are, life's changed. You have an elderly daily parent, and it changes where you are. And so you want to be able to pivot, but still feel good. Start a walking group where you live at or at work, or decorate those ugly stairs at work, and make it something where people enjoy going. You can definitely build your own group of people to help you toward your goal. You are a leader.
Excellent. Well, I can't thank you enough for this time to come on, Pen Leader, and to share those words of wisdom. So thank you so much, Erika.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Dr. Gore, and I love being here.
Excellent. So for our listeners, don't forget to subscribe, spread the word and start that walking group, that opportunity to engage and support one another. Yes. So until next time,
keep walking.
The Pen Leader podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Mays & Associates LTD, creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pen Leader podcast and share with others.